Are you getting as good of a response out there in the UK?
Oh, it's been absolutely amazing. So we've been playing in cinemas in the UK, and when the film comes to the end, people have been writing and telling me that the audiences have been just breaking out into spontaneous applause,
Wow.
and been in tears, and it's been fantastic.
I bet you are just been overwhelmed with it. And I can, like I said, I can just tell you, it is the buzz over here in the United States now. It is really spreading, and we are really just looking for more. Do you know the plans for like Showtime? Is it going? Are they going to continue to run it here in the United States? We got people asking, like, how can they? Is it only on Showtime that they can see it right now in the United States?
Well, at the moment, it is only on Showtime, and I'm not sure how. I know that they've been showing it really a lot, but I'm also aware that not everyone has Showtime.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think we need to look into whether, in a little while we might be able to have it play in other places and even in cinemas as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be amazing to get it in the cinemas here in the United States. So,
Yeah.
I am certainly looking forward to that. But let me just get into a few questions. At what point or what was it? Was it something that moved you, or did you always know at some point you wanted to do? Did you always say to yourself, one day I'm going to do a documentary about him? Like, where did this come from?
It was a really sort of amazing experience. So what happened is that I've always been a fan of soul music, and
Yeah.
soul was always really big in the UK. So, I grew up listening to all of those guys and loving that music. And then I just started sort of recently, a few years ago, listening to Teddy Pendergrass again and just thinking, wow, that guy sang so beautifully.
Oh.
And I was watching a documentary about Shep Gordon called Supermensch. And there was a little section in that about Teddy, because, of course, Shep was Teddy's manager.
Yeah.
And I had this really strong feeling. I just thought, I've got to tell Teddy's story.
Wow. So did you know him personally?
No, not at all.
No.
So it's self-amazing. So there's so many things about the journey of making this film where just all these things kind of came together.
Wow.
So I spoke to Shep and I said, look, I don't think that people remember Teddy Pendergrass as well as they should, given his enormous talent and his extraordinary life story. And I have to make this film. And so Shep introduced me to the family, and I took it from there.
Wow. So how long did it take? Like, how long has this been in the making?
Okay, so I would say that first phone call to Shep was probably over 3.5 years ago.
Wow. Okay. But still, 3.5 years is for it to be such an amazing project. I mean, it didn't take forever.
So
No,
quick.
no. I mean, when you hear about some films, that have been 20 years in the
Yeah.
making and so on, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So quick question before from start to finish, from start of production till finish, what would you say the time frame was?
Well,
for
it's
film?
sort of difficult because even though I probably started it over 3.5 years ago, I was actually, of course, doing other things as well.
Right.
And so I wasn't devoted exclusively to it. But, it was rumbling along. And then I did a trip to Philadelphia, and then I had to raise finance. And then I got half the money. Then I did a bit of filming. So, and then, I managed to get the rest of the money on board. So, it sort of fits and starts. But, I would say that I've been absolutely full time on it exclusively probably for the last 18 months.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what was one of the most amazing things to me watching it? And by the way, I told you I watched it 8 times. I watched it more than that, actually.
And she
I
keeps
believe
talking
it.
about it over and over and over
Yes.
again. So she tells everyone how great and wonderful this film is.
It's
So
so
it has to
good.
be amazing, because my wife won't even speak on it if it's not.
But one of the things that was a part of the documentary that's amazing to me are some of the he talked a lot on recordings. Like
Yes.
you would play some of the recordings of him just having conversations, and like who knew that he had that stuff?
Well, that was the sort of luck, I suppose, of, because you meet everybody and you just, I would go around and talk to people and see what they had and go through all their photographs and, go collect everything. So that takes a long time. And then I came upon these, and I thought that was great because it meant that he could tell his own story.
Right. That's
Yeah.
what was so authentic about it.
Yeah, and I felt that the more I kind of felt that I got to know him, I felt that Teddy was the sort of guy that would want to have control over telling his story.
Yeah.
And it felt very important to let him do that. So that was, a real find. And the quality of the tapes was very bad. And so I was worried about that. And at one point, I even thought about getting an actor to, voice it.
To voice it. Mm-hmm.
And I tried that, and it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel authentic. So in the end, I thought, no, we've got to go with the bad quality. But in order to help the audience, we'll put the words up on screen.
Oh my gosh, you are brilliant. Like to think of that. And like you said, luck. I mean, it was meant for you to do it. It was meant for you to have and stumble across all of the things that made this project come together and be what it is. And it is really phenomenal. I can't think of other words to describe it. And I'm so happy that you decided to do it, because I have been a Teddy Pendergrass fan forever. I mean, my parents forced us to listen to it, so I remember pretty much every song. My husband and I, we danced off of one of his songs for our first dance on our beach wedding. Latest Greatest Inspiration. We danced off of that.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, and so what is coming next? I've been seeing some things on your social media with Tyrese maybe starring Teddy Pendergrass in a movie. There's some buzz to that? Is there any truth to that?
Absolutely. So Tyrese has been trying to, get a movie going for really a long time, I think, about 8 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I met him in Philadelphia.
Wow.
And showed him the documentary, and he really loved it and said, you've got to come with me to LA because I need to show this to people. So I did go to LA and spent some time with him, staying with him. And we screened the film for people in Hollywood. Wow. And I think that really helped, because now, he's got this deal with Warner Brothers to make the movie.
Woo! I cannot wait. You are going to have to keep me in the loop on that, because Spotlight Over the City we will definitely use our platform as much as we can to get the word out, because we're not just looked at in the DMV. Because we're web-based, our growing and fans are all over the place now. So we definitely want to stay in tune and in touch, because that's going to be major. And who better to play it with that voice, that sultry, soulful voice, than a Tyrese?
Yeah, and he's fantastic, Tyrese.
Yes.
He's just so been so determined to do this. And he met Teddy before Teddy died. Oh. And Teddy himself kind of, gave him his blessing.
Gave him the blessing.
To play him.
Oh, that's great.
And that's going to be amazing. So I know people are looking forward to that. Now, you mentioned that you met the family members while you were working on the documentary. Do you have a sense of their approval of, I'm assuming that they've all watched it. Are they on board, or are some of them saying, oh, that's not true, that didn't happen like that? What are you getting back from his family members and his ex-wives?
Well, overwhelming sort of praise for the film, which has been fantastic, because it's always nerve-wracking when you kind of take somebody's life story, and it's people's lives, and then you sort of interpret it and tell the story of it. But they were really so happy with it and felt that, I had a wonderful moment actually when his cousin, George Mouzon, who's in the film, after he watched it, he turned to me and said, yeah, that's right, you got him.
Yeah, well, that has to be a good feeling, because you don't want to do a documentary about someone and then the family turns on you and say, hey, you didn't say things that were truthful. So to have them on board and in your corner, that can only make it that much better. No,
absolutely. And also, there were some things in it that could have made them a little bit uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And they were very kind of grown up about that, and just, felt that, well, this was the story and it was good to tell it. And, they've been very, very supportive.
But I think for the most part, overall, you depicted him in a positive light. Like, there were stories about him, surrounding when he had the car accident and different negative stories out there. I won't go into that, but we all know what that was about. But when you watch, that's why I say, you know what, this documentary, you nailed it, because now once people watch it, they can really see the truth, and they can really appreciate, everything that he stood for, as a performer, as a man, as a father, a friend, and a sex appeal. I mean, I didn't even know. I should have assumed that. I mean, so many women just would be on the floor for him.
Oh, I
Who
mean,
knew?
extraordinary. And funnily enough, it's one of the things that's been happening. I had to go to a meeting tonight before talking to you, and people were talking about the film, and men and women were all saying, "Wow, that guy was sexy."
I know.
So
I
tell
know.
me one thing that you learned during the documentary that was a surprise to you that you wasn't aware of at all prior to.
Well, I don't think I really understood all the twists and turns of his life and the complexity of it all and the complexity of Philadelphia at that time, and so it was uncovering the layers of
Yeah.
all of that, which was so fascinating, and putting to bed some of that gossip and rumor.
That's what I was so happy you did.
Yeah, and also, really just the enormous admiration and respect that I grew to have for Teddy, because the way that he coped with what happened to him and his kind of dignity and intelligence was, and his talent. So I think I learned just an awful lot, because I think that apart from it being, a sort of music documentary, it felt to me like a really important human story, because his life changed so dramatically in a second.
I know.
And,
It was very tragic.
And how would any of us cope with that? And the way that he coped with it was extraordinary.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree. I totally agree. Is there anything else that you would like for our viewers and listeners to know? What's coming up next for you? Anything else that you want us to know about the documentary? About what's your favorite Teddy Pendergrass song? First of all, I'll tell you mine after you tell me yours.
Mine is Love TKO.
Oh wow, mine is I can sing it, but let's see. It goes.
God.
Want me to sing it, Jeremy? Okay, it goes. It used to be, you got it? Every time I would hear a sad song.
Okay,
you know
she
that
know
song?
that.
You got it?
Yeah.
You hear me? You heard
Now,
me do
now
it?
I don't know if you recognize the song
She
based
said she
on
know
her
it.
singing
Okay,
it.
what song is that, Olivia? What song was it?
Is that No, it wasn't We Can Try, was
That's
it? No.
It Don't Hurt Now.
Yeah.
I Don't Hurt Now.
Yeah.
No, not now.
Yes.
No,
No,
not
no,
now.
it's the song, the title of the song. I know
Don't-
my Teddy Pendergrass
Okay, I'm
stuff.
sorry.
Don't
Wait a
Hurt
minute.
Now. Yeah, I know.
It
I
Don't
know.
Hurt Now. So
Okay,
that's my
yeah,
favorite.
that's a
What's
great
your
song.
favorite?
I don't really know that I have a favorite because Teddy Pendergrass has like about 1 billion hits.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for me to say I have a favorite. I really like his work though, and body of work in general.
Well, we're not going to keep you much longer. We do have to get to our news, and we have other guests on the show today. I just want to say thank you so much.
Yes.
We're going to stay in touch. Like I told you, when I saw you took that picture
Right.
with the legendary Gene Carn, I said, you know what? Olivia and I are connected. We are.
Well, that was so great because she happened to be in London.
Really?
And so somebody said, "Oh, Gene Carn wants to come and see the film." And so we
Wow.
had there was a screening. I said, "Well, let her come." And so there she was. And it was
Yes.
just fantastic.
She's an
Yeah, that was
amazing
amazing.
lady.
I hope everyone can get to see the film, and we'll do all we can to get it out there to all of you so that
Okay.
you can have a chance to see it.
Okay,
Yes.
and in the meantime, we're going to do our due diligence and continue spreading the word about the documentary so people can go to Showtime on demand and watch it. We're going to get those numbers off the roof.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for being with us and staying up so late to talk to us, Olivia. We appreciate it.
Yes, all the way from London. Give it up one more
Give
time.
it up.